It happened on a Saturday evening. The kind that begins warm and lighthearted, filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and stories that echo around the room, before twisting into something you can never quite forget. Our living room buzzed with life. Friends gathered close, drinks flowed freely, and stories bounced off the walls like echoes of joy. I felt proud watching my wife, Claire, command the room with her effortless charm. She had that kind of magnetism, witty, confident, and playfully mischievous. But then she said it. A careless joke wrapped in laughter, one that cut far deeper than she realized. Someone brought up the topic of trust in marriage, teasingly asking how we managed it. Without missing a beat, Claire laughed and said, "Oh, if I ever cheated, it'd probably be with Jake." The room exploded in laughter. Everyone except me. Jake, my best friend since college, gave an awkward chuckle and took another sip of his beer. But I could feel the air shift. Beneath the noise, I heard something break, a quiet, fragile crack somewhere deep inside my chest. I forced a smile, pretending to find it funny, but something inside me changed in that moment. Her laughter didn't stop. She doubled down, adding with a grin, "Well, at least I'd pick someone he trusts." The laughter grew louder this time, a chorus that felt like mockery. I laughed too, just enough to keep the evening smooth, but my silence afterward said more than any argument could. Hours later, the party dwindled. Friends left, their laughter echoing faintly down the hallway. I stood at the sink, rinsing glasses, watching the last traces of red wine swirl down the drain, crimson and slow, like trust bleeding out. Claire slipped behind me, wrapping her arms loosely around my waist. "Hey," she murmured softly, "you know I was just kidding, right?" I didn't turn around. "Yeah," I said quietly. A real crowd pleaser. She waited for me to ease up, but I didn't. The silence between us stretched, heavy, uncomfortable, unspoken. By morning, she acted as though nothing had happened. Coffee brewed, sunlight filtered through the curtains, and she hummed along to some song on her phone, the picture of normalcy. But for me, everything felt tilted, off balance. That night I met Jake at our usual bar. He looked uneasy, almost guilty. "Man, I didn't mean to laugh," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "It just caught me off guard," I nodded. "Yeah, I get it. But you know what's funny?" He looked up. "She thought it was a joke," I said, leaning back. "But sometimes the joke becomes the truth people hide behind." He didn't respond, just stared down into his drink. And for the first time, I realized something. It wasn't her words that broke me. It was how easily everyone laughed. A week passed. The tension between Claire and me thickened, invisible yet impossible to ignore. She tried small talk, laughter, little gestures to fill the silence, but her voice no longer reached me. Trust had drained quietly, like air leaking from a punctured tire. One evening over dinner, she finally asked, "Are you ever going to let that go?" I set my fork down, met her eyes, and said, "Tell me something. If I joked about sleeping with one of your friends, would you be laughing right now?" Her face fell. The sparkle in her eyes dimmed. "You're overreacting," she whispered. I shook my head. "No, Claire, I'm just reacting. You crossed a line you don't even believe exists." For a long moment, she said nothing. The silence between us wasn't awkward anymore. It was final. That night, I packed a small bag and left. No yelling, no arguments, no explanations, just quiet footsteps fading into the dark. Sometimes the loudest response is the one that leaves an echo. A few days later, she texted me. "It was just a joke. You're really ending everything over that?" I stared at the message, then typed back, "You joked about betrayal. I just showed you what the punchline feels like. And that was it. No grand ending. No dramatic closure. Just a quiet truth. Some laughter never fades.